You're now tuning into
The Cover Gang.
What is going on, Cover Gang? It is NFL Week 10. Justin coming off a great week last week. If you didn't already watch our recap video, he went 10-4. I went 7-7. I've had 2 weeks at 500. Still have not had a losing week, picking every single game against the spread this year. Jinx. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing myself on this week, but I feel pretty strong about these lines. If you didn't watch the recap video, we are taking Panthers plus 3.5, taking Bryce Young to bounce back off of throwing 2 pick sixes in Chicago. Like me and Justin said in the recap video, probably not one that we're going to watch, but one that we're going to put a little bit of money on.
Yeah.
Me and Justin will go over all of the 1 o'clock video, 1 o'clock games, the game in Germany, very coveted game, Colts and Patriots. I mean, what has gone on from the early 2000s to now to where this is a not watch game?
I could say this
Anyway.
like honestly, those two teams, like when they were on top, I was one of those kids that was just like, I hate those teams. Like I hated the Patriots because of their success. And I hated the Colts with Manning. Like I just did. I don't know why. I was a hater.
Yeah, well, you were a diehard Denver fan, so that's 2 AFC teams. I get it, but that was some of the best matchups growing up when I first started getting into football, and it's just now you look at. I mean, it's still kind of exciting watching Shane Steichen and his Belichick coaching for his job. So there's still some storylines behind it, but 2 teams that aren't playing the best football here in the middle of the season. But anyways, and then we'll go over all of the 1 o'clock games, give you the best of the number that you can get right now as we're recording on Wednesday, November 8th. And we will see if me and Justin agree and how much we're going to put on each game.
Yeah, and I'm going to just say this to start off. Last week, I don't know if you noticed, but 10,
I'm sure I did.
10 out of 14 of the games were favorites covering the line. I mean, what in the world? That just goes against our brand in general, but yeah, that's I don't know. I think that reverses track a little bit this week. That's just that was insane, especially that 4 o'clock slot. All 3, and then the 2 night games were both favorites. I mean, those last 5 games were all favorites.
Yeah, I think Justin had an insider or something because he said 10 out of the 14 games were favorites that won. So did you just pick all favorites last week, and that's what happened?
I picked some favorites in some spots, but I think I got lucky on the Chiefs a little bit and lucky on the Eagles. Like, honest to God, those two are when they're not, when I'm on the other side, I feel like I got ripped a little bit. So I feel kind of relieved that I was kind of fortunate. I'm just like, whatever, take it take your win when you get it sometimes. But it wasn't a comfortable win. But yeah, first up, we got the Frankfurt, Germany game. Another one at 9:30. I'm liking these international games, man. I'm liking them. We got the Colts and the Patriots at a neutral site. These teams, I don't think they're as far off in, talent-wise, and even though their records are a lot different, I don't think they're that much different as people would imagine. But so the value has shifted from the Colts. They were plus 1.5 dogs to now minus 1.5 favorites. I think, we mentioned we got to be careful betting Belichick, but I have a feeling this Frankfurt crowd is going to be Patriot heavy. I think they got a couple German kids on their squad, and I just think it's going to be like how the Chiefs were in Germany, where it was just a stadium. It looked like a home Chiefs game. I think that there'll be a lot more Patriots fans at this matchup, and it's tough taking the Patriots, but I'm going to do it plus 1.5, especially with how last week went. The Colts kind of overperformed. The Patriots did bad as usual, and at home versus Washington, which is just a nasty loss. But yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure for them to do well in this matchup. So taking Patriots plus 1.5 regular unit.
Yeah, I will ride the Patriots again. I do think that Belichick should be on the hot seat. It's so hard to say that because of the success, but it just as the league has transitioned into a offensive side, the offense just means more. Not really this year, actually. Defenses have been killing it, but Mac Jones just does not have the weapons out there. He's bad in the draft every year, so he's at least going to lose that part if he doesn't lose the head coaching position, but yeah, but it seems like Pats are the right spot here from a bettor's perspective, so I'm going to take them plus 1.5 half unit game. just because if I just bet the Patriots all year, I mean, I would, like I said, it'd be hard to make rent month in and month
There
out.
goes your
So
bankroll.
yeah, bankroll gone. But so I'm still reeling from that loss against Washington. I felt pretty good on that one last week. It was one of my double unit plays, but yeah, I'll ride with them again because I do think it is the sharp side. And but like same with the Thursday night game, like not too enthused to watch this one.
Yeah, I'm hyped just because it's a 9:30 game. I love those, but yeah, it's
It's a
it's an art.
coffee game. Wake up, drink a cup of
Yes,
coffee, watch the whole ball. It's pretty cool.
100%. Next up, and first in the 1 o'clock slate, we got a doozy. We got the 49ers at the Jaguars. The line has moved in the 49ers direction early from 2.5 to 3-point favorites now. Look, the 49ers defense has looked awful these past few weeks, but now they're getting some key, components back on their offense. Does it matter in this one? Where are you at on this one?
I think Trent is still up in the air as of right now. I don't think he's cleared to play. I think Debo is coming back, but Brock Purdy without Trent Williams has not been good whatsoever. Because the run game suffers when Trent's by far the best left tackle in football, and yeah, when that run game's not going, and it's just Brock Purdy's having to step back, and this Jaguars defense knows that he has to throw. He's not even a top 20 quarterback in this league, in my opinion. So I think you got to take Jags. They're both coming off a bye. Jags are a little hot right now, but it's just I think that Calvin Ridley has not really performed like I thought he would going into this year. ETN's been good. Lawrence has progressed throughout the year, but this Jags defense doesn't get talked about a lot. And if like I said, as of right now, I don't think Williams is going to play in this one. So I like that front to be able to get after Purdy some, be able to stop the run at home, and it seems like almost too obvious. Like San Francisco, yes, they're still a good team, but like being a 3-point favorite on the road against a hot Jacksonville team, I mean, why?
Right.
I don't get it. I think the lines move too much. So regular unit, Jags +3.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I feel like I have personally been trying to time the 49ers and the Bills bounce back spots, and it's burned me the past few weeks. They've been a sore spot on my picks the past 2 or 3 weeks. So I kind of got some resentment towards them, but it's like I just hope the Jags don't come off their bye and just lay an egg. I mean, they're sitting at 6-2, but it's just like with what's been going on with this 49ers team, I cannot back them as road favorites like you're saying. So I will take the value in the home dog Jags at +3, regular unit for me as well. All right, next up, we got the Titans at the Bucks. So we are still undefeated betting the Titans, so there's a lot of added pressure to this game. 8-0. We was sweating the Steelers-Titans game last Thursday, so we were on the right side being on the Steelers. But you early in the week, we looked at this line, and we kind of thought, or you kind of thought that it would be a heavy public spot for the Titans, but it's not so much if you look. It's like 40-some% of the bets coming on the Titans in a lot of sources. But
At this point, because
yeah.
the lines move so much, yeah, now people are starting to come in on the Bucks. The Bucks started off the week they were like 2.5 point favorites. There's books out there right now you can get Bucks +1. So Vegas done what they done. They moved it so much. Pros and Joes came in on the Titans, and it has got to the point where some sides are coming in and taking Tampa. But it's just we talked off air about that Steelers and Titans game. It's like Steelers are probably going to stay with Kenny Pickett going forward, and I think that'll end up being their demise, honestly. And Will Levis, he'll have growing pains throughout the year, but it looks like they have a quarterback. Ryan Tannehill wasn't able to push the ball down the field. Will Levis was. But I am taking the Bucks here. They suffered a heartbreaking loss on the road. C.J. Stroud coming back late in that fourth quarter. They come back home. Defense is better than it showed there. And this is a Will Levis, kind of like I said, it's a little bit of a learning curve. He's played good through a game and a half, but he'll have some spots where whether he's turning the ball over or not seeing the field correctly, Todd Bowles will be able to dial up a good defense against this Titans team, I believe. So I'm taking Baker in the bounce back. They still, even though Saints won, Falcons lost, that NFC South is still up for grabs. And I think this is a pretty the Bucks need this one, so I'll take them as home dogs at this point at +1 to beat Titans outright. Regular unit.
I think this is going to be the end of one of our streaks because I'm going to take the Titans. Look, if it was Titans +2 or 2.5 like it opened, I would love this bet, but it's down to where I think it should be. I think these teams are pretty much even, and there's a lot less edge in the line right here. Maybe even some value on the home +1 Bucks. So I don't knock you for taking it, but I'll take the Titans at +1. I think it's just a bounce back spot for them. The Bucks covered close for us last week, and the Titans did not cover. So I'll just play the bounce back spot, and I hope that I'm the one that's 9-0 at the end of this game. But I got to take the Titans. So one of us goes down the end in week 10. All right, next up we got the Browns at the Ravens. This is the second time these two teams face off. In their first battle, the Ravens absolutely floored them, 28-3. Lamar had a big day against that defense. The Browns started Thompson Robinson at QB, and it did not look good at all. Where are you at on this one?
No doubt, got to take Browns +6 on the road. This is a Deshaun Watson. Are you Deshaun Watson? Like, not necessarily as good as he was when he played in Houston, but a massive upgrade over PJ Washington. Two really good defenses playing against each other. That second time they've got to see Lamar. Yes, they got embarrassed. Lamar had a good game, but that was more of the Browns could not do anything offensively with DTR, whatever his name is. So, yeah, this like it's a regular unit play because the Ravens are playing so good, and it is Baltimore at home. But I think it's a low scoring game. Comes down to the fourth quarter, and I mean I could see Browns winning outright because the defenses are that good, and Deshaun just puts together a drive at the end. So, yeah, fourth quarter type game +6 regular unit play.
Yeah, I don't think the Ravens sweep the Browns here. It's at least against the spread wise. They might win outright, but 6 is a lot, and it's a divisional battle. We usually take the underdog in those kinds of matchups, but look, the Ravens are sitting atop of the power rankings on a lot of people's lists right now, and I get it for good reason, but we've seen what has happened with all those teams that finally make it to the top ranked team. It doesn't last long, and this is a good spot to take, the opposite of the narrative and take the Browns +6. There's definitely value in that, and I think that's why I'm taking it. So regular unit for me +6. We're aligned on this one. Next up, we got the Texans at the Bengals. The Bengals have been red hot, and meanwhile the Texans they're good at home. They are good at home, and they're not so great on the road. But it's a big number. What do you feel about this one?
Yeah, playing an actual AFC, like the Bengals are obviously after winning 5 straight. People are starting to think that, hey, this is a potential Super Bowl team. Played good against the Bills last week. But 7 is a lot. Houston, I don't think, have they got blown out by anybody this year? Not that I can remember
I
offhand.
think the Ravens beat them 25-9 or something like that week 1. And then I know they upset the Steelers and the Jaguars in 2 weeks in a row.
And Falcons barely beat them, but I don't know. They've beat some good teams. Like
Yeah.
they crushed Pittsburgh,
and then Jacksonville after that. Yep.
then they beat Jacksonville. And then they beat Bucks last week. I mean, he's got the hot hand right now, and it does seem like a good spot to take a veteran quarterback and fade a rookie, but a 7's just too much to bite off here. And like you said, I think that 10-4 record, taking favorites last week, kind of comes back to the mean a little bit. So it's a regular unit play because it still is a young team, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. But I'm just hoping CJ keeps me in it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bengals are firing on all cylinders, so betting against them is scary, especially when it's like the Bengals of the last 2 years. Like, Everyone's on them. It doesn't matter. There's no value in their line. They cover. It doesn't matter. Like that's what they're
I
looking
think
like.
somebody was calling for them to miss the playoffs and somebody was not.
Yeah, I was being devil's
You jumped
advocate.
off ship pretty quick.
I was being devil's advocate and saying, hey, maybe there is a problem. Like they look back, but they did that, the year before. They start off slow, so they just that's in their plan for some reason. They just start off slow. But yeah, I got to take the Texans +7 here as well because, like you said, they've played kind of up to the talent that they face. When they face a good organization or a good team, they kind of play up to that level. And I mean, the Bengals are red hot. Some people are calling for a Super Bowl year now, like you said, and I just think now that that's the case, I got to take the Texans +7. There's value in the line. CJ Stroud, he can do it. I mean, he's been showing that even with all the pressure, like he still will keep you in this game. I could see the Bengals winning by like 6 or maybe 4 or something like that here. So I'm taking the Texans.
Yep.
Next up, we got the Saints at the Vikings. So I hate the Saints, and every week for some reason the early line movement, which a lot of the times is like the book's adjusting because they're scared of something, or they're like, maybe we didn't set this line right. Sharps, but maybe buying early, taking a little nibbles here and there early on. It always juices the Saints number for no reason. Like, I know situationally, I'm supposed to love the Saints right here after they underperform against the Bears and the Vikings upset, the Falcons with a new Josh Dobbs at quarterback. And I'm supposed to, in public perception somewhat is that, yeah, we'll take the Vikings as underdogs here. So it's like I'm supposed to like the Saints, but I just promise that there's no value in taking them at -2.5 on the road. There's no reason.
Across this is like the closest. There is no necessarily pros, Joes. Like it's kind of all over the place because the argument for the Saints is that the front seven will be able. If you watch that Atlanta Vikings game, that Dobbs, he got out of a few sacks. He was able to run the ball for a few first downs to keep them in that game and ultimately win. And the front seven for the Saints will be able to control that, which I think they might be able to keep them in the pocket. But you're giving Dobbs an extra week of actually learning the offense. Like they didn't start off the game with Dobbs because he wasn't ready. That Hall kid got concussed in the first quarter, and here came Dobbs in. So
right.
I think you got to take. Minnesota's hard to play in. Justin Jefferson, he's cleared to come back. He may be on a snap count or something, but even without him, I mean, they have weapons all over the offensive side of the ball. It was one of the worst defenses through the first few weeks of the year. They've been able to get after the quarterback. And Derek Carr still, yeah, I think that's why this line movement always happens with the Saints is because on paper, why is this offense not clicking? And it's just like, until you show me otherwise, I'll fade you. So I am here taking Vikings home dogs +2.5 normal unit play.
I'm gonna half unit just because it feels suspect to me. It feels too easy. It's like why would the books give? I mean, look at these teams' records. Look at their against the spread records. Like Vikings 4-1 in their last 5 against the spread outright. They've won several in a row. It's like, and the Saints, they're like 2-7 against the spread. Like it's just a weird line. I don't like it. Half unit. I'll take the Vikings.
Evan O'Connell versus Dennis Allen at home.
Yeah. I mean, for that reason, that's why I'm gonna lean taking the points when I can't really decide. I just feel like the situation clashes with the value of the line, so for that reason I'll take the Vikings at a half unit +2.5.
Yeah, I think it's sharp.
Next up, we got the Packers at the Steelers. The public is coming in huge on the Steelers right here. I think like 90% of the bets on most sources are backing the Steelers. And I mean, really, I don't blame them. I mean, Jordan Love, yeah, they beat the Rams, but all year and every sharp spot, just like the Patriots, they just don't cover. And I get it, but 3.5, like 90% of the bets. We got to take the Packers here as these tickets are just flooding in. It touches 3.5. And I saw on some books after it touched 3.5, it jumped back down to 3 on some. So it's a little bit juiced, but I think that's because the money just, hammered the Packers +3.5. So I'll follow the Sharps once again. Hopefully they don't lead me into a trap.
Yeah, this is a unit and a half play for me, taking Packers +3.5 on the road. I'm looking for a big Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon type game. Pittsburgh has struggled all year against the run. Yeah, TJ Watt versus Jordan Love gives me nightmares, but it's Kenny Pickett versus this Packers defense. I mean, the sharp side really is just to bet that the under in the first half probably, because neither one of these teams show up until the fourth quarter.
I
Really,
like that.
I mean
That's a good bet.
that's really how it's been. But I'll yeah, I can't be on this 90% on the Steelers side here, and the line's barely moved at all. So unit and a half Packers plus 3.5, and small hands. Fade them again.
You hate the Steelers. That's it for the.
No, I don't hate the Steelers. I just don't like Kenny Pickett. I just don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think they're wasting their time with him, and they'll be a 500 team at the end of the year. They'll miss the playoffs, or even if they do make the playoffs, they don't have a chance at winning a playoff game, in my opinion. And yeah, he's just a weak link on that team. He's wasting TJ Watt's career.
That's harsh, man. I hope Kenny don't tune into this podcast, but no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I didn't say I don't think, but I'm taking a regular unit on this one. Tyler is taking a unit and a half on the Packers plus 3.5. But that's it for the early games of the week. Make sure you tune in to the 4 o'clock games and after Eastern time. Subscribe and click the bell if you've been enjoying the content. You'll get notified every time we drop a video. We're dropping 3 videos per week. We do the early game predictions, the late game predictions, and the recap every Monday. So thanks for tuning in.
I believe all of our double unit plays are coming in the 4 o'clock.
Yeah, we had no double unit plays.
Time.
That's true.
My double units are coming in prime time.
I got a double unit.
Definitely tune into that one.
Yeah. Make sure to tune into the 4 o'clock games this week, the prime time slot. But drop a like on the video if you've been enjoying the content, and then thanks for tuning in as always. Let's cover the spread. Peace.
Peace.